What's up, peeps? Hope my sound's doing all right. Welcome. This is what we're getting into now. Pretty fun new game. We've just played. We watched some gameplay. We really aren't. We think we understand how to play, but until you actually play, you know how that goes. So what we're gonna do today is it's the first day, so I'm actually probably gonna just watch like some YouTube videos on how to play. I'll just stream it and talk over it as we're watching it. And then I'll, I have tabletop set up too with a deck. Probably just be gold fishing. I don't know if anyone wants to play. If you do, holla at me. You know, we can get on Tabletop Simulator. But this is what's up. Grand Archive. Fun game. If you look at the VODs, we cracked a case yesterday. It was pretty cool. The art is incredible. Our friends are really into it, so they like the tight gameplay and stuff like that. We've been playing Flesh and Blood pretty heavily, as you can tell. But yeah, let's just go ahead and get rolling. See the best way to do this while people roll in. I think I have it over here. Oh, it's here. Yeah, there we go. So we're gonna get rolling just with a quick start guide first. So I'm just gonna play it, watch, try to, this is very basic. If you have no idea how to play, this 5-6 minute video from Grand Archive TCG themselves should help. Let's just fire it off.
Welcome to the Grand Archive Trading Card Game Quick Start Guide. Grand Archive is an anime trading card game where players duel to defeat their opposing champions before losing their own. Let's get started. Here are 2 champion cards. A champion is defeated when they accrue an amount of damage counters equal to or greater than their life stat. When a champion is defeated and you are the player with the last champion standing, you win the game.
So first question, I think I know the answer, but as you level up, you keep the damage counters. So that makes sense, I think. So we'll go back through in a couple months and realize how silly some of our interpretations are, but maybe they're on point. Because you do go level 1, 2, 3. You start at level 0. You can go up to level 3, and then there's cards that actually temporarily bring your level up, and then you're able to do some pretty unique stuff. So damage counters stick around as far as I know.
We'll talk about how these champions get on the field in the first place later. As you can see, we have 2 decks. One is called the Material deck, and the other is the Main deck. The Material deck consists of Champion and Regalia cards.
Yeah, any of the Champion cards or the ones that blue cost, as far as I know.
These cards originate from the homeworld and will aid you in your duel. You may look at these cards at any time. The Main deck consists of cards that you will draw into your hand during regular play. These consist of various different card types. We'll go over a few of them in this video. But before we do that, let's go over what all cards have in common. This is the card's elemental requirement. We need to have this element enabled before being allowed to activate this card. This card requires the normal element, which is enabled for all players at the start of the game. Here is the card's reserve cost, indicated by the yellow circle. It's basically the card's activation cost. To pay for this cost, we must place that many cards from our hand face down into the memory zone, but remember, we can only do this if we have the required element enabled. The cards you reserve into memory aren't lost forever. You'll get them back during your next turn. Now let's go over some common card types, starting with ally cards. Allies are summoned onto the main field, the same field where your champion resides. They have an attack and life stat. Allies can attack as long as it's currently your main phase and that ally is awake. Being awake means that the card is in portrait orientation, while being rested untapped, means that the card is in landscape orientation.
Awake and rested.
When allies attack, that ally becomes rested, and the controller must declare what target they are attacking. If the target is an opposing ally, that ally has an opportunity to retaliate if they are awake. Doing so rests that ally. When an ally attacks into a retaliating defender, they both deal damage to each other. Defenders get to deal damage back only if they are retaliating. Allies die if the damage they take in a single turn is equal to or greater than their life stat. Keep in mind that allies can attack the turn they enter.
Okay, so what I got from that is they heal up at the end of every turn, because it says if they get killed in a single turn, they die. So
The field, but doing so makes them rested, not being able to retaliate during the opponent's turn. Action cards are cards that have one-time effects. They are great for providing boosts in tempo advantage and are common in many deck types. These cards have a speed stat. If the action card says slow, that means it may only be activated during
slow
your
is
main
like sorcery
phase,
speed.
and only if there are no other card effects being resolved.
Fast is instant.
However, if the card says fast, it can be played in response to other effects. It can also be played during any phase and even on another player's turn. Attack cards allow your champion to attack, similar to an ally. Activating an attack card requires your champion to be awake. It becomes rested as you declare an attack target.
Okay.
This attack deals damage to the target equal to the attack card's attack stat and can be retaliated against as well.
I guess I wonder if the enemy hero can retaliate. I don't think so. I think it was only if I attack an ally they can retaliate. But
Now that we know how to use our cards, let's go over the phases of the turn. When we first start our turn, we enter the Wake Up phase. During this phase, all cards on our main field wake up. Next is the Materialize phase. During this phase, we may activate up to one card from our material deck. Unlike the cards in our hand, the cards in the material deck have a memory cost instead of a reserve cost, which is indicated by a blue circle.
okay.
To pay for a memory cost, we must banish that many cards currently in our memory zone at random. Because of the random nature of paying for memory costs, the player must be very careful of what cards they put down to pay for reserve costs.
Right.
After the Materialize phase, we enter the Recollection phase, where we return all cards from our memory zone to our hand. Then we draw a card for our draw phase, and immediately move back into our main phase, which is where most of our plays occur. After the main phase, there is the end phase, which is when end of turn effects end and temporary damage on all ally cards are removed. Now that we've learned how to use our cards and how the turn cycle flows back and forth, there's only one more thing to cover. Let's take a look at how a game begins. After randomly deciding on who goes first, the player that does puts a level 0 champion from their material deck into play at the start of the turn, and skips immediately to the main phase. These level 0 champions draw
Just
you
going
an
back,
opening
main is
hand of
after draw, right? Yeah.
for a reserve cost.
Draw main. Okay, so turn
After the
turn 0, you
Materialize
go
phase,
straight to
play at the start of the turn.
straight to main.
It skips immediately to the main phase. These level 0 champions draw you an opening hand of cards and usually enable an element for the player. This dictates how their deck should be built. The level 0 champion can level up into higher level champions during the Materialize phase by paying a memory cost. Note how the champion's life stat increases when they level up, allowing them to take more damage counters before perishing on the battlefield. New and stronger elements are enabled with certain champion levels, unlocking a variety of cards for us to activate. After
Okay.
this turn, the next player gets to put a level 0 champion of their own into play from their material deck. Then, they skip to their draw phase, allowing them to draw a card before their first main phase. Now, you've learned how to play a basic game of Grand Archive. For additional information and tips, please
Okay,
refer to
very
the
basic.
info sheet or
There's one more
booklet
video
included
that's much
in the
more in
Grand
depth,
Archive starter
And we're not
deck
going to watch the whole
products.
thing, but there's a demo.
Thanks
at
for
the
watching
end.
this quick start
So,
guide for the Grand
watch
Archive
that,
trading card game.
and then
We
we'll
hope
get
you emerge
into,
victorious in your fight.
You know, goldfishing probably. So this is Maindeck, great YouTube channel. If you're into learning about this game, make sure you give them a subscribe like I just did. Let's
looks
see.
like, and how to play out all the steps of the turn. Now, let's recap everything by actually stepping through a few turns of a typical Grand Archive
So it
game
steps
for
through
you.
a few turns here, as you said. Oh, we gotta add. Hold on. Pull this up.
Now, let's recap everything by actually stepping through a few turns of a typical Grand Archive
So
game.
thank you, Maindeck, for YouTube content.
In this game, we'll be playing Lorraine, the warrior, using the wind element. Our opponent will be playing Rye, the mage, using the fire element. We've shuffled our decks, and we randomly decided that Lorraine gets to go first, so let's begin.
Okay.
You'll recall that the first turns of the game are a little different. Instead of the wake up, materialize, recollection, and draw.
So just make sure I understand. So his turn, first turn, he's going to basically go straight to pulling out his level 0 hero and start. Let's make sure we understand that correctly.
Steps. We'll start by just materializing our level 0 champion. The Spirit of Wind costs 0 memory, so we materialize it for free. On enter, it draws us 7 cards. Now we have a hand, and the wind element is enabled for us, so we can now play both wind and normal element cards. In the main phase, let's look at our hand here. Weaponsmith seems like a good ally to start with. It has a reserve cost of 2, so we'll take these 2 Crux cards, we can't play them until level 3 anyway, and place them into memory to pay the cost. We still have 4 cards in hand, but we would need 1 more card to activate the Ace and Protector. Our other cards don't do much right now. We can't attack with our attack card or the Weaponsmith because our opponent doesn't have a champion or allies to attack.
Right,
yet.
what can you even
So
attack?
it looks like our
no
main phase
attacking
is done.
turn 0.
We'll go to the end phase, and then our turn is over.
Okay.
On Rye's first turn, he skips his Wake Up, Materialize, and Recollection steps, and instead materializes his level 0 Spirit of Fire,
They draw.
allowing him to draw 7 cards. Since he's taking the second turn, however, he still gets to draw a card in his draw phase. In Rye's main phase, he's going to activate a Library Witch. Rye's goal is to slow us down so we can't beat him before he reaches level 3, and then he'll blast us with arcane cards, so we need to try to break through and finish him first. Rye then moves to his end phase, and it's our turn again. Alright, turn 2. In Wake Up, everything's already awake. Now we can materialize. To keep our aggression up, let's go right into our level 1, Lorraine Wandering Warrior. The memory cost to level to this level is 1, so we'll randomly banish one of our cards in our memory to advance. When Lorraine Wandering Warrior enters play, we get to materialize a weapon for her. This ornamental greatsword will be really helpful. When it enters, we'll use its ability to give our weaponsmith +1 power for the turn. At the start of a recollection phase, our weaponsmith's ability places an extra durability counter on our greatsword. Nice! Now we can take the card remaining in our memory back into hand, and in the draw step, we draw a new card.
Okay.
Alright, now in our main phase, we have a few options. Our opponent now has a champion and an ally, so we can start to attack. Let's start by attacking with our weaponsmith. We can choose to either attack their champion or the Library Witch. Our weaponsmith has 2 power because of the greatsword's ability, so let's attack their champion. After declaring the attack,
Greatsword,
our
did the
opponent
greatsword
declares
say
that
give
the
ally
Library Witch
+1?
will use its
Must have.
intercept, so I guess we're attacking it anyway. In the combat phase, our opponent could choose to retaliate with the Awake Library Witch, but it has 0 powers, so that wouldn't do anything.
Okay.
We'll just go to the damage step, and the Library Witch will take 2 damage, killing it, and on death our opponent gets to draw a card. With the witch out of the way, let's attack with our champion. We could just attack using our greatsword, but the way is clear for a bigger attack, so we'll attack the opponent's champion by activating Invigorated Slash, costing us 2 cards from hand into memory.
Okay, yeah, this was something I recently was learning. So the attack says Warrior Sword. So this is the champion doing attack. You gotta rest your champion. And if I understand this correctly, it'll get a bonus damage based on your weapon damage. Let's see if that's the case. I think we understand it correctly.
Because we leveled from 0 to 1 this turn, it's got a base power of 4. We'll also use the greatsword with the attack card, so our total power is a frightening 5. Champions cannot retaliate natively, so we move right to the damage step.
Okay, that was a question we had earlier. It says champions can't retaliate natively. Makes sense.
And the Spirit of Fire takes 5 damage, and we remove 1 durability counter from the greatsword. Now our main phase continues, but I predict we'll need this favorable wins, so let's just end our main phase here, and then of course end our turn. On our opponent's turn, they have nothing to wake up again.
So the favorable wins, it has the floating memory, which is, it's good because this is a spell, so it'll go into the graveyard, and then next turn I could banish it to level up, to pay a memory cost rather. So I know in some decks when you're racing to level up, you you want to use that instead of banishing cards out of your memory randomly. So the floating memory is a really unique mechanic.
Again. And they choose to materialize Rai level 1, banishing 1 random card from their memory to pay the cost. Rai enters with 2 Enlighten counters, and whenever he has at least 3, he can remove 3 of them to draw a card at fast speed.
That's a mage effect.
Then Rai
Enlighten
collects
counter.
his other card and draws a
6
card.
demon bag. Sensational. What's in it, Egg?
In his
Yo,
main phase,
appreciate
it looks
it.
like Rai is ready to take out that weapon
Doc,
smith
what's
to
up,
stop
man?
us from
Thank you
using
very
this
much.
weapon for extra damage every single turn. Rai places 3 cards in his memory to activate Blitz Mage. Rai then has his Blitz Mage attack our weapons.
Okay, so he just summoned Blitz Mage. It costs 3, so he puts 3 cards in his memory. There's no summoning sickness, so he just straight up comes in. He's gonna kill my weaponsmith, and my weaponsmith is rested, tapped, so it can't retaliate. So the Blitz Mage is gonna kill my weaponsmith kind of for free, I guess.
Because our weaponsmith is rested, it cannot retaliate, so it won't deal any damage back to the Blitz Mage.
Right.
Fortunately, we have a trick. Before the damage step, we use our opportunity to activate Favorable Winds, a fast action, placing 1 more card from our hand into memory to pay the cost.
Nice. Okay, now it makes sense why they didn't just waste favorable winds. Because I was just gonna like play it out to waste it, but it's fast. So this is the opportune time to use it. I have 3 health on my weaponsmith, or we're assuming we're the bottom hero here. We have 3 health on the weaponsmith. They attack for 3. There's no retaliation, so it's basically gonna get a free kill. Flash this in, give it +1. Now it's 4 health, so it's not going to die, and if we're understanding correctly, it'll heal up after the turn. But this obviously gives the opponent a time. He might have a pump also.
This will give our weaponsmith +1 life for the turn, and it also has floating memory. Let's remember that for later. Thus, in the damage step, our weaponsmith survives with 3 damage sitting on it, which will clear at the end of the turn.
Right.
Unfortunately, our opponent also came prepared. They place 1 more card from hand into memory to play Ignite the Soul to deal the final point of damage to the weaponsmith, killing it.
Okay.
Having completed their mission,
So it wasn't really a combat trick. Yeah. I think there's some cards that do that, like wake an ally up or let it retaliate. I have to go back and look at the database. So this is, I had an extra health to survive. They ping me with this 1, basically instant 1 damage. It's floating memory, which is also really good. So they're going to kill the weapons
for the turn, our opponent passes the turn to us. In Wake Up, Lorraine wakes up, and then in our material phase, remember that floating memory card? We can banish that from our graveyard to pay for memory costs of cards in our material deck. Let's banish it to play Sharpening Stone and try to get some revenge for our lost weaponsmith. That means we get to take all of our cards back into hand in Recollection, and then draw another. Now this should be a nice turn. Let's start by banishing our
Okay, so Sharpening Storm's an item. It's going to come out on the field, permanent, and then its effect, obviously, sacrifice it, banish it, rather. Give my sword +1 and draw a card. So,
Sharpening Stone to give our Greatsword +1 power, and then draw a card. We'll use just the weapon this time to attack with Lorraine, straight into Rai. Because of the Sharpening Stone, this deals 2 damage to Rai, bringing his total damage taken to 7. Then, the final durability counter is removed from Ornamental Greatsword, and it becomes banished. It's very common for Rai to do very little damage during the first part of the game. However, Rai is very capable of doing 30 or even more damage in a single turn at the end of the game,
Yeah,
so you
this-
have to take him out
the
first.
hero on top's got that 1-turn
Next,
kill
we'll
fire.
place 4 cards into our
arcane
memory
stuff.
to play the Tactful Sergeant. Since we attacked with our champion, on enter, we'll get to place a card from the top of our deck into our memory. We can actually peek at our face-down cards in our memory at any time, so let's see what it is. Ooh, it's a dungeon guide.
Good card.
Unless we banish it, we'll get to take it into hand next turn. So we're going to want to be careful with how much we materialize on the next turn so we don't lose it.
It's going to
The
kill
Tactful
the...
Sergeant can
mage,
attack as
right?
well, and this is just perfect. We'll declare an attack on the Blitz Mage. Rai is out of responses, and the Blitz Mage is rested, so it cannot retaliate either, meaning we get a free kill on it. At that point, we'll pass the turn, but we're going to end our...
I wonder, he says there Rai, the top hero, is out of responses. I don't know if he means that like in a gameplay state or just like he's stating a fact, like the hero he's playing right now doesn't have a response. Yeah, Exactly. Out of responses. I mean, he's got 2 cards in hand, so he could pay a 1-cost card. It could do something, right? If he has a 1-cost fast card, he'd be able to respond with it, right? If it was, yeah. So I think that's a slight mistake by the creator here, basically making it a little confusing. I think. I could just be completely wrong. I think what he meant to say is, in this situation right now, Rye doesn't have a response. So it's going to kill it. But he kind of says it preemptively, like without knowing what they have. And as far as I can tell up top, he's got 4 cards in memory and 2 cards in hand. And 2 cards in hand means you can cast a 1-cost card. And if it's fast, that can respond. So, okay, I'm glad
Our
we're thinking
demo
the same
here.
thing. Like,
The
what do
game
you
would
mean?
continue until one player has dealt damage to the opposing champion equal to their current life total. I hope this video
Okay,
brought
so this is Maindeck. Great content. Definitely go check it out. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna pull out our Wind Warrior deck we have, and just look at cards and Goldfish. Hopefully it's entertaining for you guys as I'm reading these cards. It's very much a learning thing. I would just be doing this by myself, but I might as well stream. So if anyone else can learn. So this is Tabletop Simulator. Highly recommend this Steam purchase for this tool. Great for all games. People have been able to play Grand Archive on Tabletop Simulator for a long time, and the card just came out last week. So highly recommend Tabletop Simulator. But what we've already done is we have an object here for a Wind Warrior. So a deck is your 60 card main deck. You have your material deck and then a sideboard. So we'll just pull the sideboard off here because that's way too advanced. Main deck over here, and then you have your material deck here, up to 12 cards. So let's just look at what's in this material deck right now. It's going to be a lot of weapons as we're a warrior. Some other very useful trinkets, or regalia, I believe they're called. And then we have our hero. Let's just put these up here, and we're going to zoom in on these. I know you can't see them at a distance, but this is, every deck's got to have this. This is how you start. You pull out your level 0, and it's an element. And this says on enter, draw 7 cards. So there's no like draw 7 to start the game. It's this tells you what to draw. So when you start the game, you pull out Spirit of Wind, draw 7 cards, skip your other phases, and go right into main phase. So basically level 0 champion, then I could level up to level 1. When I turn him level 1, on enter, grab a 0-cost weapon from your deck. So as soon as I level her to 1, I can pull a 0-cost sword from my material into the deck. Level 2, on enter until end of turn. Wow, okay. So the turn you level 2, you basically get +2 on your attacks, and on kill, draw a card. So you definitely don't want to just level to 2 and not have a attack for Lorraine. So, I could summon some allies, but they wouldn't get this bonus trigger here. What's level 3? On enter, choose a sword regalia card from the memory of +1 or less. From your banishment. Oh, okay. So by the time I'm level 3, ideally I have a level 1 weapon or a 1-cost weapon in my banish. So if you remember, the cost up there on the top left is blue. These are all that's memory cost. All the cards in the main deck are going to have yellow cost. And those costs, you put the cards down to memory. But to pay a memory cost, it has to be in the material phase, and you banish cards from your memory randomly to pay for it. Unless it's floating memory. So we'll see how that goes. But let's take a look at some of our weapons here. So we have our hero, level 1, 2, 3. And you can look at your material deck kind of anytime. Got a warrior's longsword, 1-cost sword, sword of seeking, 0 cost. I obviously got to have some 0 cost because right when I level her up to level 1, I get to put a 0 cost into my right on the battlefield. So there should be at least one level 0 weapon. There it is. This is extremely, I think this is the most valuable card besides like alternates and stuff. Just like in the unlimited printing or the alter printing, this is It reminds me of Fyendal Spring Tunic, I think my fab friend said. It's just almost every deck is going to want to run it. It's free. It draws you a card. So it's just like getting you some value. Okay, this is a really cool sword. Cost 2. You notice something different about this one too, is at the top right of the card, it says Crux. So Crux is one of the 4 advanced elements. So the only way you get Crux in this deck is when you turn level 3. So let's just go back and look at this hero. You know, you start with Wind. That's this deck I chose. Then look, this hero is Norm, but I kept Wind. So when I'm level 1, there's no new things I can do. It's just Wind and Norm. You can always do normal, but also Wind. Level 2, same thing. See, it says Norm in the top right of the card. So I'm still just Wind. But when I turn level 3, Crux. Crux is an advanced element. For the Mage, Arcane, there's Luxem and Terra. Those are the 4 advanced elements. And they only come active when your hero's level 3. This hero, Lorraine, the Warrior, gets Crux. So any of my cards with Crux are dead cards until I'm level 3. So this sword here, Sword of Avarice, is obviously like an end late game type of card. And I'm sure I have a ton of Crux stuff in the deck. This is another Crux card. Wow, this is good. So this is a 0 cost item. Comes on the field. Sacrifice it until end of turn. On attack, draw a card. So not just dead. So very useful. Dawn or Drawn Blade. Orb of Regret. Okay, I can see that. That's some extra cycling bonus. Banish it. Shuffle up to 3 cards from your hand into your deck. Draw that many cards. So I dig it. Oh, Prismatic Edge. So this is another Crux card. I wonder if I can see the rarity. Yeah, SR. So this is probably one of the killers in the deck. I'm not sure if I pulled one of these. On enter, each player reveals all cards in their memory. If a fire element card was revealed, choose a unit to throw 3 damage to it. If a water element card was revealed, draw a card. If a wind, you can banish a card. Wow. Okay. So I thought this was sideboard tech when I read it for fire. It makes sense now it's main board. So basically whatever element they are, it doesn't affect. Pretty cool. So that's our material deck. And we have our main deck here. Let me shuffle it a bit. So we're going to goldfish here. A lot of this is going to be looking at the hand and trying to, you know, you can't know an optimal play pattern unless you know all the cards. So I'm going to be looking at a hand and then reading all the cards. And then maybe together we can come up with some plans. So let's assume we won the die roll. And if you win the die roll, there's no choice. You just have to go first. So it's more like rolling to see who goes first, and that's it. So we roll a 6, they roll a 5, we go first. So start of the game, we can pull out our level 0. So we pull the wind out, revealing it. It says on enter, draw 7 cards. Let's assign ourselves a color here, red. Okay, draw 7. We'll go straight to the main phase. So we have a Crux card. Again, Crux is late game, level 3. So if I'm thinking, what am I going to spend? You know, use this card as a resource. Which cards am I going to use as a resource? Crux is like, okay, probably Crux. There's that favorable winds. They used that last time. It's really good because it has the floating memory. It's an instant speed too. Dungeon Guide, really good card. Level up your champion almost instantly, but you do have to banish 2 cards from your memory. I guess you could rush it. So we'll look at some play patterns. We'll probably just stick with this hand and think what this hand can do instead of just like doing a play and drawing and going to the next. So we'll think about different options here. Banner Knight, another ally, 2 cost. Other allies and weapons you control get +1. So Banner Knight is a good little booster. This card costs 5, but it costs 1 less for every human ally you control. Looks like most of my stuff are human. We have another card here, a Crux card. We'll worry about those later. And we have Savage Slash. which is an attack from our hero. There's nothing to attack here. So let's look at some options here. Let's say we're going to play Dungeon Guide. I don't know if this is a good turn 0 play at all. No idea. Literally the first hand I've ever played ever. So we're in this together. But it costs 3. So I'm going to keep them face up for now, just for learning's sake. Let's just put Phalanx Cap there. So you would normally put these face down like this, but again, face up. So it says on enter, you may banish 2 cards at random from your memory. So you'd roll a die, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Banish that one. We'll say odds, evens. Okay, so we banish 2 cards. But on enter, this dungeon guide, if you do level up your champion, okay. So we're level 1 here. Let's pull out our level, we're level 0. Lorraine should be in here somewhere. So this is what we'll have to do, not spread. We want search, grab our level 1. So it's a level 1 Lorraine, because it says we can level up. So from level 0 to level 1. On enter, materialize a weapon card with cost 0. So we'll do this again. We'll start recognizing what the cards look like. I believe it's Sword of Seeking, yeah. Okay. So now we have Sword of Seeking on the field. And there's nothing to attack, but that seems like a decent turn. Maybe that's, I mean, we leveled up. We did lose a lot of cards though. So if we ended there, they do their turn, it comes back to us. Basically the first turn we could materialize something. Okay. Let's think about some other options, just how it would work out. So again, we want to probably pay these Crux cards. The other option, Phalanx Captain costs 5. So that's probably not a great turn 0 rather. We can't use our Savage Slash. We could summon a Banner Knight. He would only cost 2. But we wouldn't have leveled up. So yeah, I actually think the Dungeon Guide was probably the right play. So we did Dungeon Guide, we banished a couple cards. I think Phalanx Captain stayed. It's whatever, we're learning. And we pulled that sword out. So we have an ally, we have a sword, and we pass. So gold fishing, if you know what that means, is playing with yourself. So the opponent's turn 0, or turn 1 rather, they're going to draw, they can summon some stuff. Let's say they summon a creature, an ally, and they kill our Dungeon Guide. Goes to the graveyard. Okay, they pass back. Our turn. We can summon something from here. So we could fire off 1 card. So we could probably just do the Grand Crusader's Ring. So that costs 0 to materialize. If it costs 1, we'd have to banish 1 card from memory, which we only have 1 of. If something costs 2, we could not cast it because we only have 1 memory cost. So then it goes Recollection phase. This goes back to my hand. Draw phase. Draw 1. Okay, my turn. I'm going to banish the relic, draw another. Makes sense to just do it early as possible. Swift Recruit here. Could be good to get out because it has floating memory, which can help us take the RNG out of our memory costs. Oh, I should have put a counter on this. It's got 2 durability counters. So we can't level up our hero because we don't have any memory. I guess we could have this turn. So let's go back. we had the one card in memory. I believe it was Phalanx Knight. So at the start of our turn, if we didn't want to bring back, if we didn't want to summon Crusader's Ring, what other options do we have? Could we just summon our level 2? Let's see. Does it cost 1? Oh, it costs 2. Okay. So you need 2 memory to do the. That makes sense. Okay. Let me just see if level 3 is 3. Yep. Level 3 costs 3. So we got this out. We drew a card. This went back to memory. We banished it. Now it's our turn. Okay. So let's see. This costs 4. We need to spend 4 resources here. Let's see if we can do something. We summon Banner Knight. Let's pay these face down. So he's a 1/3. Other allies and weapons you control get +1. Oh, only at level 2. Okay. So I actually don't get the effect. But it might be good still to rush the board here. No, I think instead of Banner Knight, I'm going to summon this Tamer. Or excuse me, this Swift Recruit here. It's got Intercept, which is like taunt, or I don't know the right gaming term for TCGs, but if they attack our champion, we can throw this in front like that. So this weapon right now is a 1 attack. So we could do something like, okay, we'll attack your hero for 1. Let's assume they don't have an intercept. We'll attack their champion for 1 damage. And then we're going to do Savage Slash. It's an attack warrior sword. So this is going to be from my hero. So we have to pay 2 more. So this attack says it does 2 damage. But I could use my weapon on top of it. And I'm going to do that. So I think we exhaust the hero here. We'll lose the durability counter, and this will come in for 3 damage. So we could like kill if they had an ally or something, or attack them for 3. But let's say we do that. I think this goes to the graveyard. This says banish, right? Yeah. And then we'll pass turn. Their turn. Wait, can I intercept? Oh, it's only if awake. Okay. So if I wanted to protect my hero, I could keep this awake. The trade-off was attacking them for 1 with the Swift Recruit or leaving it as a taunter. So let's assume we did that because maybe they attack our hero for 5, and if we jump in front of 5 or 4 or whatever, that's probably better than doing 1. So it makes sense to keep your intercept cards awake. And this has floating memory also. So their turn, let's say they attack my hero. I throw this guy in front. It doesn't say intercept taps it. So I could just throw it in, but let's say I want to retaliate for 1 or it wouldn't matter. This guy will die. And then let's say they attack my hero again. I have no response, take some damage. Okay, my turn. First you wake everything up. Then you can do summon something. So I think we're going to just try to level to 2. Let's just see how this plays out. Let's pull out our level 2 hero. We could summon a new weapon, but we're going to try to get to level 3 so we can start using Crux cards. Okay, so this costs 2, which means we got to banish 2 cards at random from memory, or use floating memory. So we have this floating memory. We'll banish this, and we'll banish 1 card at random. Let's just say 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, so we banish this. Crux, it's fine. Now we're level 2. On enter, her attacks get +2 and on kill draw. So if I was a little smarter, I would have remembered that at level 2 she gets this bonus attack. And Savage Slash might have been good to hold on to for that. So last turn we could have done something like summon 2 allies instead of Savage Slash. We had 3 2 costs, and we could do 2 of them basically. We decided to do the Taunter, and then we did Savage Slash. But we could have done the Taunter and the other Knight, and kept this for when we leveled to 2, and then it would have done more damage. So that makes sense. Then we get all these back to hand. Draw a card. And now we know our hero, basically, we want to attack with the hero this turn. So let's see if we have any. This is an ally, like a unit, creature, whatever you want to call it. Another ally. This is a mage spell. That won't work. This is another mage spell. Return target ally you control to its owner's hand. You know, these are in the deck because they have floating memory. And the floating memory, as you notice, I just banished them instead of random. So, makes sense. So it doesn't look like I'm going to get too much value here. Oh, I'm level 2 now, so we can do the Banner Knight. So summon Banner Knight. Other allies' weapons will get +1. This sword is a 1 attack. This turn it's 3 attack. And now it's 4 attack. So let's assume they have a creature with 3 or 4 health. We could then do the thing where we're going to attack with the sword. We got to exhaust our hero. Attack for 4. Let's assume we kill it. Draw a card. This guy's a 1/3. He can't taunt, so we'd have to evaluate the field. If they had a 1-cost creature, 1 health creature, we could kill it. I don't know how many there are like that. But if they have a 3 health creature, there's no reason to attack with this. We drew Veiling Breeze. The advantage of drawing there actually is, so as I play, I'd rather do it like this. Because now we have favorable winds and another card to cost. When I was originally thinking about the logic, I was assuming we weren't going to have another card in hand. So the 1 cost was useless. Might as well be 10 costs because it was the only card we couldn't play. But when we draw, now all of a sudden the 1-cost cards are playable. So we attack them, kill a creature, draw, pass turn. Their turn, they're going to decide to kill the Banner Knight. Oh, we lost the durability. Weapons gone. Boom. Got no more swords. So their turn, let's say they try to kill the Banner Knight with a 3 attack. So we can do, in response to their attack, we can cast Favorable Winds, paying 1. This is going to give it +1 till end of turn. Let's say it goes up to 4 health, and now it survives. They do some other stuff. Let's say they hurt our hero. We can keep track of damage counters like this. 3, 4, whatever. Okay, back to our turn. Wake up. Now we can cast a spell. God, we got no cards in hand. Really need some card draw. I don't think we played this hand really well. We could try to get another creature out. I think Drawn Blade will be good. Because so we'll summon a Drawn Blade. Okay, it only has 1 durability, but on enter, draw a card. So we summon the Draw Blade. It costs 1, so we'll have to pay 1 from memory or 1 from floating memory. This card has keyword floating memory. Pay it that way. Did we draw? No, we didn't draw yet. Okay. Draw the card, because this is enter the battlefield, draw a card. Get all these cards back to our hand. And then draw for turn. Okay. So this is only 1 attack here. So what do we have here? Not a bad card. It costs 4, so it basically costs our whole hand. I could summon this one also, because it costs 1 less for every human ally I control. So these both cost 4. Let's try the Tactful Sergeant. So our turn, we'll cast Tactful Sergeant, paying 4. Okay, so we did it wrong. Pull this back. This hasn't entered the battlefield if my champion has attack, draw a card. So it's probably worth it. We already got 1 card draw off Drawn Blade. Let's just do another. So we'll swing Drawn Blade, attacking for 1. swing it at their hero, let's say. Then we're going to cast this. Summon Tactful Sergeant. If your champion has attacked this turn, which we just did, put a card in memory. So basically netting us a card there. And now this died, remember, because it only had 1 durability counter. We could do something like, oh yeah. So this actually attacked for 2, remember, because the Banner Knight gives all our weapons +1 and other allies. So like the thing we did last turn where we pumped it by 1 health to save it. I mean, that might have been like a game-winning play down the road. Like keeping him alive for another turn basically gives me a lot of net damage. Now, this Tactful Sergeant's attacking for 2, that attack for 2, this attack for 1. So I can only yield 5 damage this turn, but it's still probably fine. Let's say I do that. I basically go all out, try to clear his board. Past turn, I'm hellbent. Let's say they finally kill this guy. Let's say they're really good at board wipes. They kill both my creatures. Okay, my turn. Untap. Could cast something from memory. God, we could just go level 3, but it would cost 3 cards from here. Wow, now I see the power of floating mana. Or floating memory. I don't think we have any left in here. Yeah. So I don't think it's worth it to go to level 3 right now. We're able to look at cards in our memory at any point, though. So we did get this Crux card. Well, we can see how bad it is, but let's look at our options here from memory. We're going to want to play something. These 2 cards are Crux, and we can't play it. It's Crux 2. These 3 are all Crux. So we can summon a Warrior's Longsword. We could summon Orb of Regret. I kind of want to go with the Orb of Regret here. Let's just see how that plays out. We'll summon Orb of Regret. It costs 0, so we don't net lose any cards. Then it's, I believe, Recollections before draw. So these go back to the hand. Draw a card. And like, let's just say I don't like these Veiling Breezes. Maybe even Tactful Sergeants. Let's crack this Orb of Regret. We'll put these 3. I don't like Reclaim, actually. Gather. We'll just put these at top. Oh, first we draw 3. 1, 2, 3. These go to my hand, actually. Oh, Dungeon Guide. Okay, that might have been a cleaner way to level up. These, you shuffle the deck, so R is the hotkey. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Okay, now it's our main phase. Now, we could Dungeon Guide and go to level 3 that way. What was her level 3 on hit? On enter, choose a Sword Regalia card with 3 additional durability counters. Okay, so we've got to make sure we kept... Oh, from your banishment. Okay. So, how do you get a weapon card in your banish, right? When I used it up, it went to the graveyard, I think. Because her level 3 clearly says... Choose a Sword Regalia card with memory cost 1 or less from your banishment. How do you get a card in your banish? How do you get a weapon in your banish, right? Not sure. But let's see what else we got. We got Crux Sight. We got another Swift Recruit. It's a nice card to have. You got to have some pretty big card advantage, though. Really good protection for your hero. That might be good late game against Rye if he's popping off, or just in general. But wow, you'd have to have several win cards in your memory. And then at least this card and 1 to cast it. But then you can reveal the win cards and basically absorb that much damage. Every attack that turn. It'd be really good. Obviously, it's better if you have no allies. You know, you could trick them once. They attack your hero. Boom, you do this as a reaction because it's fast. Absorb that attack. But then if you have a bunch of allies out and they have more attacks to follow up, they'll just attack your allies, I imagine. Again, I've never played this game. Never played it. So it's just how I imagine it would work out. So playing it with no allies on field seems good. Obviously, you need many win cards in your memory, though. So we're going to try to do the dungeon guide thing. So we'll do dungeon guide. Cost 3. I don't think I have any warrior. Let's just read this again. Sword Regalia card. I'm pretty sure it's got to be these ones in. Let me just make sure the swift attack isn't a. Yeah. Okay. All right, we'll cast dungeon guide. We're going to 3, so I kind of want to keep the crux. Let's just keep both cruxes. We have no idea what we're doing. Summon dungeons, guys. On enter, you may banish 2 cards. Again, these should be face down. So we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that die is gone. Let's just do another die. 2. Say odd even. Odd, so we banish these 2. If you do that, level up your hero. So we get to level 3. On enter, choose a sword regalia card from your banish. Who knows how you get a sword regalia card in your banish? That's the first question I have. How do you get a sword regalia card in your banish? Because I'm assuming when your sword dies, it goes to graveyard or runs out of durability counters. Let's read a sword. They're probably good at explaining it. Let's just make sure it says that. No, that's just like an inherently understood mechanic that you should know. Okay, but we're level 3 now. We can play crux cards. You'd really want to pull out your weapon though, right? Okay, you may pay an additional 2 as you activate that. Nice. You can kind of get some free card draw. As an additional cost to activate this card, return a sword regalia you own. So I assume you own means it's on the battlefield under your control, which we have none of. So this whole turn I think was pretty bad because we leveled to 3, but we didn't have a good follow-up. I think we needed to utilize our card draw a little better. It might have been better just to try to materialize a sword. Wow, Sword of Avarice. Okay, we can do that next time. Because we summoned the dungeon guide in our main phase, so it's our material phase, I think we just missed it this turn. Yeah, I'm not sure how these crux cards work. We pass. Their turn, they kill dungeon guy, beat the hell out of my hero. Sucks. Back to my turn. I only have. Do I have any floating memory? Doesn't look like it. No, I sure don't. So we can only cast a 1-cost card. So let's see if anything in our here is 1. Wow. Okay, this looks good. Banish this crest. This is a UR, so UR is the highest rarity besides the sign cards. We actually opened this one. Good card. Your champion gets on attack. Draw a card. What other options are? I think we have this Warrior's Longsword. Seems really weak. Let's do it. We're going to cast Warrior's Longsword. We banish our card because it costs 1. Draw for turn. Okay, this lets me draw. I could do this, draw a card, and get a crux element from my graveyard. We haven't used any. Okay, so this is like after you're cruxing it out, you've done crux spells. This is like your looper. Okay, let's do this. We're going to cast Spirit Blade Ascension. As an initial cost to activate this card, return a Sword Regalia card from your material deck. Okay, yeah. So we summon the... Oh, we should have kept track of the durability counters on this. Gotta get used to doing that mechanically. So we'll cast this. Let's pay Beseech the Wind. Return a Sword Regalia card to its deck. And then it says I can choose any Sword Regalia card. So it's one of these two. Let's do this one. So we'll summon this sword. On enter, draw a card. Class bonus, draw 2. This goes to graveyard. Okay, so there's something I'm missing here about how you can attack multiple times in a turn. Because this card says until end of turn, target sword weapon gets +3. And you can only use it if you've dealt damage. Wait, I think I know how this works. Well, it's only got one durability. Wait. We missed a step here. We missed our draw phase, I think, and the other one. Okay, so let's just reset and go through another goldfishing exercise. That was good. That was our first game. Beating up ourselves. Okay, sideboard, we don't need that. Here's our main deck. Let's shuffle it up. Boom, boom, boom. Here's our deck here. Let's say they go first. They summon some random stuff. Okay, our turn. We're going to pull out our Spirit of the Wind. Spirit of the Wind says on enter, draw 7. We get our draw phase. And now we go. Okay. Veiling Breeze is not going to do anything. That's a protection card. Creature that costs 5. Creature that costs 4. Within enter the battlefield if I've attacked. I wonder if this allows me to summon even a Crux card. Probably not, but it says materialize a card from your material deck. Let's keep track of some of our questions here. We certainly have a question about Beseeching the Wind. Can we pull a Crux card? I'm guessing no. But I mean, it's kind of weird how it's worded. I'm not sure I understand quite the value of Beseech the Wind, unless it could do that. Wind Cutter. This is an attack. Okay, I like this. Let's just start simple. This is going to cost 2. Yeah, so if we were going to sequence this properly, we certainly want only wind cards in our memory. So Wind Cutter, it costs 2. Let's put a couple wind cards in here. Paying for it. It says it's a 1 attack, but if you're a warrior, it's 2 attack. So for us, it's 2 attack. On hit, reveal a card at random from your memory. If the card was a wind element, put Wind Cutter into your memory. So, attack him for 2. On hit, it says reveal a card at random. We'll say odds, evens. We know they're both at hits. Boom, it's a wind card. It says if that's the case, put Wind Cutter in your memory instead of graveyard. So we attack for 2. Now, it's still our main phase. It's not like attack. I think I can summon something now. I think this counts as your champion attacking. I think that counts as my champion attacking. So we can do this. Spent all our memory, seems efficient. On enter, you can put a card into memory. Okay, that seemed like a reasonable turn 1 there. Their turn, they clear the board, do some more damage. My turn, God, I got a lot. I can only summon 1. I can only materialize 1. So let's do the hero, right? That makes sense. Okay, now I'm starting to see the power of Dungeon Guide, because since you can only materialize 1 a turn, the Dungeon Guide's a way to get around it. So we'll summon our level 1 hero for free in our materialize phase. On enter, grab a 0-cost weapon. So we like the I think Sword of Seeking is my only 0 cost. Yeah. So Sword of Seeking comes out. It's got 2 durability counters. Gather. It was oh, we had to pay 1 for Lorraine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I need an 8-sided die. Let's roll 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh. Alright, let's just assume it was 6. We banish this one randomly. Then we draw for our main, well, recollection first. Ooh. Okay. Put these back, draw a card. Our turn. Okay, so we got Crux card, no Dungeon Guide, so no leveling up. We got a lot of Crux cards. 4 Crux cards. We could do something tricky here, perhaps. Tricky. You know, cards are value. Even these Crux cards, because they're resources too. So, we got a lot here. But let's say we do Wind Cutter again. Banishing 2 wind cards. These would be face down. Wind Cutter says it's 2 attack. We can add the attack of Sword of Seeking. So this would be 3 attack. So attack for 3. On hit, reveal a card. If it's wind, reveal a card from your memory. If it's wind, this goes to your memory. So, right? We know these are both wind. Spoiler, that's how we did it. This goes to memory. Now we have 3 cards in our wind. And if you recall, this card, our protection spell, matters how many wind cards we have in memory. So we attack them, maybe kill a creature. This goes down 1. We pass turn. Okay. They do something. We have no allies. So they're like, all right, we're about to smash Puff's face in. Let's say they have 2 allies, maybe, or spells or whatever. They come at me, attack me. I'm going to do Veiling Breeze. We'll pay with Crux on sight. It says, reveal any amount of wind element cards from your memory. We'll reveal these 3 wind. Now we're going to be absorbing 3 damage at attack. So it seems like more than 3 damage is kind of rare early. So even if he had a wide board, he's most likely like 3, 2, you know. So we just like prevented all the damage. The opponent's like, okay, yeah, good play, whatever. Now it's our turn. Untap. We can summon something. What was the thing about level 2? You don't want to go level 2 unless... Oh yeah, we don't understand... Yeah, I think we go for level 2. Her attacks get +2 and on kill draw. Let's try it and see what happens. We could normally just search these quicker, but we'll do this. We'll summon level 2 hero. It costs 2, so we have to banish 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 1. Say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Another one that didn't roll. 6. Okay, so we banish these 2 cards. Her attacks get +2, and on kill, draw. These go back to my hand. Draw a card. Now we're going to want to throw a sword attack at him because we got the bonus this turn. It looks like Wind Cutter. Okay, I can see the value now of just recurring this. So let's do it again. Oh, we don't have... Oh, okay, no. We do have 2 wind. So we'll do Wind Cutter, pay 2. Again, these would be face down. Wind Cutter is +2 attack. Lorraine is +2 attack this turn. My sword is 1. So we attack something for 5. That's probably enough to kill a lot of things or put some pressure on the hero. On hit, reveal a card at random from your memory. Surprise are both wind. This goes back to the memory. I love it. Attack for 5. On kill, draw. Let's assuming we could kill an ally. So we'll draw 1. This sword would die. Key question. When your weapon runs out of durability, does it go to banish or to the graveyard? I assume it's the graveyard, but there's a lot of cards that say pull the weapon out of your banish. We'll learn. I'm not sure if I could throw 2 attacks out here. I can't use any of these Crux cards. Oh, we should... We already did our... Yeah. This is like a waste of a card, but it might be good to fire it off to get to floating memory. Okay, back to their turn. We don't have a board, so they could probably put a lot of pressure on us. We don't have a really good way to react. We're going to go ahead and cast this just to get the floating memory. These are all really good. Wow. Okay, we'll just do this. Our turn. Wake up. Summon something. We could go to level 3 here. Kind of want a sword, though. Maybe it's just Drawn Blade time. Oh. Drawn Blade seems good. We'll summon Drawn Blade. It costs 1. We'll banish this floating memory to pay for it. It comes in with 1 durability counter. On enter, draw a card. And we draw these back to our hand. And then we draw a card for turn. Got a lot of value here. We could definitely do Wind Cutter again. Wow, all Crux. Oops, all Crux. Maybe the play would be to just rush level 3 for the Crux. But we need 3 cards in memory. And we had it last turn. Oh yeah, well, I guess Wind Cutter would cover it exactly, right? Yeah, so let's do that. We'll do... Whoa. We'll summon our favorite card, Wind Cutter. Really good card now. Put these 2 wind cards here. You know, these would be face down. Attacking for 3 damage. We'll use our sword up, so it's 3 damage. This, we reveal it. This goes to the memory. Pass turn. They kicking our ass their turn. We got no allies. All damage coming at our hero. We got to think. They might not have that many cards at this point. When we played our first hand goldfishing, we kind of ran out of cards. This time, because of Wind Cutter, and because we weren't racing with Dungeon Guide, we have a lot more cards. So we might have a huge card advantage here, but we don't know. But let's say he pounds our hero. She got 24 life. They might do 5, 10 damage. I have no idea. Okay, back to our turn. I think we're going to go for the level 3 here. Let's see how it works. We'll go level 3 Lorraine. It's going to cost 3, so we'll banish all these win cards. On enter, choose a sword for your banishment. The question, we don't know how this works. So, I'm about to just Google, ask that question. Ask my homies. Asking the homies. We'll say, let me just ask them. Of course, if anyone in chat knows, that'd be great. When your weapon runs out of durability, is it... Might as well just ask the homies. Because we're level 3 now, we're Crux, so all these cards are live. There's a lot of cool cards here, so we'll read these while we find out. I want enter. Okay, so this would be good. I could just return like a item, a 0 cost item. Really cool card there. And this one's gonna, this is a 2 attack type of thing. Let's see if I get a response. When your weapon runs out of durability. Oh, it goes to banish. Wow, okay. Neat. So we learned something. These weapons go to banish. Okay. So on enter, choose a shorter gallery card with mana cost 1 for your banish mode, put on the field. I guess this, do we want to draw a card or have True Sight? I think True Sight might be cooler. Comes with an extra 3 durability counters. This goes to 5, okay. Okay, now our Crux's cards kind of make sense. Oh, wake up champion, draw a card. Okay, this is, it's making sense. So let's do this. Let's just, we're rushing. We'll do Spirit's Blessing. Wait, never mind. First, we'll attack. It's just 1 damage. Attack for 1 damage. Okay. Whatever. Then we're going to cast Spirit's Blessing. Cost 1. As an additional cost to activate it, return a Regalia control to its owner's material deck. This isn't good. This, we forgot this was going to go back to material deck. Wake up champion. Draw a card. How? Okay. So this one, it seems like we'd want to bounce an item. So we went a little ahead of ourselves here. We could bounce an item if we kept the sword. This card costs 2 less to activate. Gives your sword +3. Wow. Okay, so we need to definitely work on the crux, like the end game, figuring out how things work. Oh, we have Orb of Regret here. So would you stutter return on purpose to get a Regalia out? But if we did something a little different. Let's see how this combo could be good. Let's say we waited a turn and we had an Orb of Regret out. Warrior's Longsword gets +1. So we have our level 3 hero. We brought the sword from the graveyard back. Got the 5 durability counters. Okay, we attack. Attack for 1. Then we'll cast Spirit's Blessing. It's an additional cost. Return a Regalia you control, so we'll return this to the material deck. Wake up your champion, draw a card. I think we already drew the card. This goes to the graveyard. Now we can do this. If we done damage, it's free. Target sword gets +3. So now it's 4 damage. So attack for attack for 4. Just tapped again. A 3 durability. Pay this. As an additional cost to activate this card, return a sword or go you own back to your deck. No, that's not gonna work. Alright. I think the next step is going to be to play some actual games. So, we'll keep this video short, stream short. Might be back later to play, but that's probably all we're going to do today. Looking forward to doing more gameplay. We got our webcam set up. You see behind us. We have cards. This was really... Oh, I actually stood these up. Look at that. Made a card house here. I couldn't do that if I tried. So yeah, the game's really fun. Again, it's Grand Archive. We're going to be playing a lot. You know, obviously Flesh and Blood is our main game. We play Magic, but Grand Archive is pretty hype. So we're looking forward to learning and playing with some friends, building some decks. We're going to be doing gameplay next stream. But comments, feel free to leave them. I'm going to just upload this one to YouTube, so it'll be a learn to play type video. But thanks for hanging out, everybody. Doc, appreciate the sub. Everyone else, y'all take it easy. Have a good night.